Morning and welcome to another episode of Josh and Pat. I'm Joshua Klein, joined by Patrick Cassett, and Zeke is back on the Cowboys.
Mhm.
Now, sometimes you got to go backwards to go forwards,
Matthew
and
McConaughey,
maybe
right?
that's what the Cowboys are thinking. But this seems like an interesting move because remember, there was a time period there where the Cowboys' only running back was Deuce Vaughn, and people were wondering if he was going to be able uh, to reach the height that they needed for that season. And there was a lot of running backs who were available this offseason. Derrick Henry, for
Mhm.
a while, was linked to the Cowboys. They actually never reached out to him. There was Aaron Jones was available, Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler. There was a lot of guys that were kind of moving around in the running back
Joe
market.
Mixon.
Saquon Barkley.
Joe Mixon.
A lot of guys. And they said, you know what? No, none of those guys are going to really do what we need them to do. So we're going to go with a guy who at one point did. And we know that he can be effective on this team. So they go and they get Zeke, bring him back.
Mhm.
And I wonder how Cowboys fans are feeling right now because you get a person that you probably loved growing up watching. But you're also kind of realizing this is it. This is all we have.
Yeah, and look, I'm just looking at the Cowboys running back room that they have here, Josh. And I'll tell you what, it's got some names in it. Not names because we know they're good players, names because the cool names, right? It's Rico Dowdle.
Rico.
Okay. How about Snoop Connor?
Oh, Snoop.
Like you're bringing in Snoop. Like imagine the 1-2 punch. That's like we go from Deuce to Snoop back to Zeke.
Yeah.
That would be a three. That's a three-headed monster, is what people are saying. And then you got, I mean, I don't know. Somebody's going to have to run the ball for Dallas, and it appears that Zeke Elliott may be the guy again.
Well, if I remember that playoff game a couple years ago, it might be Dak.
Right, because you moved Zeke to center. Oh, and that's really unfortunate because no longer is the last play in a Cowboys uniform for Ezekiel Elliott him as a center.
We don't know that.
Could be. Maybe that's his all-time position.
We don't know what the Cowboys are doing, but Jerry Jones has a master plan, is what it seems like. And I'm not sure how they're going to react when, the Kansas City, Dallas Chiefs come.
Moving into town.
And I'm not sure what's going to happen there. If Jerry Jones is going to have to realize that he's no longer the team of the city and no longer America's team.
But well, if he's America's team, I'm sure he'll figure out a place to go to.
Right, because he kind of has dominion of the whole place. So he can really play anywhere. It's a home game.
Right, and remember, he's still got training camp in California. Right. So, I mean, I'm sure he's got options. Maybe he goes, screw it. I'm not America's team anymore. Maybe I'm the Mexico City Cowboys.
Right. Or go to one of those go to like Oakland. They need a team.
Oh, right. Bring it back to Oakland, the Oakland Cowboys.
Yeah, that'd be kind of sick.
Could you imagine if he brought a new stadium to Oakland?
That'd be yeah. I think it'd be.
Well, what if he went to another? What if he decided to go to a different area? Maybe he was like St. Louis Cowboys.
Right, San Diego Cowboys.
San Diego Cowboys would be really nice too.
Could be good because again, you have all these places that need a team.
They need it,
and he already technically is that team of that place, being America's team.
Exactly.
So, hey, congratulations to Ezekiel Elliott. Congratulations to the Cowboys, one step closer to the ring, and we believe in you guys. Actually, playoff win first, but then once you get that playoff win, it's all downhill from there. We're sure you're going to do great things. Speaking of things that happened, Tank Dell was shot. Now, this was alarming. When I first saw it, I said, generally not good. Generally not good to get shot.
And unfortunately, I always go to, did he Plexico Burris himself? Right? Because you think about the wide receiver. Like, did he accidentally shoot himself? And obviously, odds of that are probably very small. But the fact that another really good receiver did that to himself inside a club raises questions.
Right.
This happens to be the exact opposite.
Right. And he was on the wrong end of a very unfortunate situation. Luckily, feels like he'll be all right. I'm not sure what the psychological damage. We understand it's a high stressful situation, and and we're rooting for Tank.
Physically, it feels like he's going to be okay. And for the Texans, I mean, that's really all you can hope for.
And Tank to me is, that's a guy who kind of feels like my kid out there, because I was scouting him way before he was on anybody's radar, back when he was at Houston. And so I felt like I kind of watched him, grow into the league.
Develop, right.
And I called it. I called he was going to be a league guy when me and Tank locked eyes right before. And I said.
And he's on your fantasy team?
No, I couldn't get him. I tried to.
Gotcha.
Me and Tank locked eyes in East Carolina versus Houston football game. And I knew he was special. And I locked eyes to him. I said,
this guy's good.
What's your 40? He looked at me. He went
4.2.
Right. Now, he didn't run a 4.2, unfortunately, at the combine. But he's fast. So,
well, imagine trying to stop a whole tank. Like that's a small level of an army, right? And that's you bring in a whole tank, it's hard to stop.
I think Houston could be a problem. I've been watching CJ Stroud and Micah Parsons on their podcast, or Micah Parsons podcast, and it's unfortunate that CJ Stroud is so likable because he could be an issue for time to come. But the Ravens bring in Nate Wiggins to lock up Tank Dell, and so.
And luckily for Nate Wiggins, the only receiver that's ever given him a hard time, the Ravens actually drafted, and that feels really, really good if you're a Ravens fan,
right? And who was that?
It's the wide receiver they took in the 4th round. Yes, 4th round.
Right.
That being Tez. Yep.
Okay. Well, It's good that we got him. Joe Milton's to the Patriots. Now, I kind of forgot this guy existed. He can throw the ball really far, though, is what we know. And he's 100 yards is what he throws it.
An orange. He can throw an orange 100 yards.
Oh, orange. Not
he can throw. Well, I think he can throw a football probably like 80 to 90.
So when did he throw an orange?
I mean, he threw. I just watched the video. He threw an orange 100 yards
in the Patriots facility.
Well, considering that I think he played in the Orange Bowl.
Was he wearing pads when he threw the orange?
See, and that's so you're saying there's an asterisk situation,
right? Because the pads make the difference to me.
Well, I think it's an interesting revitalized QB room because is Bailey Zappi still in New England?
So you got Zappi, Milton, and
Drake
May. Well, that feels like it's very different from last year's when it was Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, Malik Cunningham.
Right.
And so now you basically say, hey, no, we're doing a full 360.
And I'm starting, and unfortunately, I think the Patriots I think Bill was maybe right. And because we were saying, hey, Bill, like, why are we not playing Malik Cunningham at quarterback, right? And so then the Ravens grab Malik Cunningham, and we're like, hey, they have a master plan. And then it just turns out that the Ravens just draft another quarterback, and Malik Cunningham appears that he may be the 4th string and just actually maybe a wide receiver.
There's talks of whether he's going to be quarterback or wide receiver, so they'll see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, because think about it, you trade out Malik Cunningham for somebody completely different and Drake May, and you trade out Mac Jones for somebody completely different and Joe Milton. Right. And so that swap there
you're bringing in new. But there's one Malik that I haven't given up, and I think it's stronger affirmation for us today, and that's Malik Willis in Tennessee, Josh.
Yeah, Will Levis, QB1 for the Tennessee Titans, we believe. We actually have no idea what that franchise is doing, so
it's a lot of questions.
We'll figure that out.
It's a lot of questions.
He didn't get catfished. He did get catfished by an actual catfish.
Well, and you got to remember, this comes almost a year to the day when his girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend now, kind of took the NFL by storm.
Yeah.
And that was Gia Duddy at the draft.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. And so now he went for him kissing her, which I can't speak on what that experience would be like. Only he can, probably.
I think she ran a half marathon. Good for her.
Good for her.
Good.
Hey, good for her. It's that season. A lot of girls
it's a lot of
these days.
It's a lot.
Where did that come from?
I think it's an age thing, Josh.
Oh, we just hit the half marathon age?
Well, we've officially reached we're entering the pickleball age which I think leads to the half marathon.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So then,
Because I think the pickleball is a wider range.
well, it used to be the pickleball age was like 50, 60.
Right, but it's lowered now. It's
Interesting. Which
Yeah.
I do. There are girls on my timeline pickleball all the time, and I'm not saying that's why I'm starting pickleball, but it's definitely not a con.
Yeah, right.
But he kisses a catfish at a hockey game, which I guess is a part of their thing. First of all, like if I am a guest at a hockey game and I'm told like, hey, you're here, you're a guest, one of the things you're going to have to do is kiss a fish.
That kind of sounds cool.
I'm going to say, I'll eat a fish. I will not.
You'll eat the raw fish.
No. If they cook it.
Well, this catfish wasn't cooked.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't do it. I'd like symbolically eat a catfish.
Here's the thing, is I don't want my QB1 anywhere around a catfish, right? I don't want him to get catfished. I don't want him to be kissing a catfish.
Unless it's like a Louisiana cuisine and
But then here's the question, Josh.
Crawfish.
If he starts kissing catfish, in what situation does this end up with a Manti Te'o girlfriend? That's going to be terrible for the mic.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's a stepping stone.
It's a stepping stone.
So we're gonna say to all of our Titans fans,
which one of the best videos ever on this channel is actually us talking about Malik Willis.
Yeah, I'd say just hope Malik Willis takes that next step. And
because he didn't get a chance either.
He didn't get opportunity.
No, it wasn't a fair chance.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, he didn't get the chance with Will Leviscott. So, but Will, we hope that you're doing all right, and we hope that you can rebound and recover from this because the internet, things live forever. So,
yeah.
Anyway, the MLB is changing back their uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
This comes after they changed it to these interesting see-through jerseys.
Mm-hmm. Trying to grow the game.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to build a brand.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone always in sports says, the way to really build your league is to highlight your players, highlight the talent, show more of them, show more of the players, show more of the talent. And that's why
they're really trying to strike on 2 balls, 1 strike.
Right. And so and they think they took that very literally. And so they showed a lot more of it. Now there's a little controversy between whose fault is this? Is this MLB's fault? Is this Nike's fault? Or is this Michael Rubin's and at Fanatics fault? And we came on initially, we said we couldn't be Fanatics' fault because we know the kind of guy Michael Rubin is, kind of businessman, and we just didn't think it was like him. But, Nike had a track record before Fanatics of doing really good. And so we didn't know who to believe.
Right.
Well, the MLB has decided for us, and they said totally Nike's fault. And Nike will now be making new jerseys that allegedly, until we can't say anything until we've seen them, will not be see-through.
Yeah, and that feels like a huge win for the league, right? And so a part of these changes is, number one, they're going to make the names visible on the back of the jersey.
Make them visible.
Which feels like a big win, right?
Right, because you'll know who you're rooting for, and that's a big deal.
And number two, they're going to make it so that these jerseys, the new jerseys that they just launched, were supposed to be more, sweat absorbed, a little bit lighter. Well, it turns out people were just getting drenched in the jerseys, and it was just a pile of basically just water, right? And so they're going to make the changes back, and they're going to say, hey, we're going to make improvements so it's not just going to be drenched with sweat. And also they're changing some of the pants back, and that feels like a huge win for the players here.
For sure, for sure. Now, what will be interesting is, I always thought a suggestion could be that they did shirts versus skins, and then, you only technically had to wear the jerseys, home or away.
Well, but then you got an issue with, you got Jose Altuve issue, right? And he hit that walk-off against the Yankees. People were accusing him of wearing a buzzer in his jersey. His jersey.
No, they said trash can only.
Right. Well, but then his jersey gets ripped off, and he was scared to do the interview shirtless. He said his wife wouldn't let him do that. So I'm not sure if the players would be pro.
Oh, because the wives, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
It definitely wasn't because he was wearing a buzzer, though. So
no, it wasn't.
No.
They said they came out, and You know when somebody gets caught, they always tell the truth.
Always.
And so that's why I believe that they're just doing the trash can, and that's good to know. But congratulations to Michael Rubin. You weren't the problem. And
Devil's advocate here. I saw something where the MLB's Players Association profits a lot of money off of Fanatics. So maybe they were just saying, hey, we're not going to blame Fanatics. But look, I'm not. Look, I read what I read. They said it was Nike problem, not Fanatics.
Yep. And we're going to continue to believe that. So moving on, the IndyCar races were in Alabama.
Yes.
I'm not sure how that works, but IndyCar was in Alabama. They were racing, and I guess whoever owns a track, I guess, is a little weird, a little odd, is what it seems like. He had a mannequin that was hung on this bridge
that over the track.
Now, a mannequin, very human-esque looking.
Yes.
So I kind of sending a weird message a little bit. You can interpret the message what you want.
Yeah, but Josh, maybe you just don't understand it, man. Maybe you don't.
And you're right, and I don't get the humor. And people tell me,
maybe it's not humor, Josh. It's art.
Oh, like how fragile life is.
Yes, especially when there's cars going probably 180 miles per hour. It's a symbolic measure to prove how dangerous.
Right, but they're going so fast actually that they're only really in that section for such a brief time that you could really probably the chances of it
unless
as you're going down,
unless that mannequin decides to jump off the bridge, Josh,
which it did. Mannequin said, I'm done with this. I'm not sitting here anymore. Mannequin comes down, lands not directly on the track, to the side of the track. Hand does hit a car.
The wrist just.
So my question is, do they put a new one up to replace it? Or do they realize maybe that's an idea that we should rethink or go back to the drawing board on? And I don't know exactly what they're going to do.
I would double down.
I think they double down. I think they put more up there.
That's what I'm saying. So instead of there being one in every spot on the track, we go 2, right? Yeah. And if it happens again, we go, hey, 3.
Yeah. Or like maybe you don't put a girl. Like how sick would you put like a dragon or something? Like some sort of animal creature.
I would love some like alien looking dudes. Like the guys out of Toy Story.
Oh, yeah, those guys. What would be the scariest thing that could be above you as you're driving?
That's a really good question.
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. But they're gonna continue working on it, and
I'm sure they're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. And then NBA playoffs are happening. Suns got swept. This is Devin Booker and Kevin Durant together on the Suns.
And Bradley Beal.
Turns out, not a winning combo.
Yeah. Well, not even once.
Yeah. And listen, say what you want about LeBron. Did not get swept.
Didn't. But you got to remember what LeBron said, too. It's just a basketball game.
Right. It's just work. What was the MLB player who got like scrutinized on the Angels? He's like, this is a job, it's just work. And then they buried him. LeBron James though, he's got that good family life balance, and that's why he's gonna be fine picking a team that sucks next year to go play with Bronny.
Well, I can't wait until he gets involved in the recruiting process with Bronny this offseason.
Right. So does he pick the team and then Bronny gets drafted by that team? Or does Bronny get drafted and he goes to that team?
Well, considering that the draft happens before free agency, it would feel like Bronny would have to get drafted somewhere.
Right, but does he?
But he's working the back deals.
LeBron could get out of a contract.
Of course he could.
He's got the business savvy.
But you got to remember, he has really good relations with Jeannie Buss, the owner of the Lakers. He was first and foremost wishing them a happy International Women's Day.
Oh, he was. When was that? That was the other day.
You never saw that clip?
No.
He's sitting courtside. He was like hurt or something. And he goes, first off, happy International Women's Day. And the women loved it.
That's good. Hey, that's good for LeBron. I don't know if he's gonna win another game in the series because it feels like
Is he ever going to win another game in a Lakers uniform?
I don't know. That's a question I don't want to be the one to answer.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that if he comes back and then maybe he is the GOAT. Maybe he is.
He's, you know what? He is. I think he's the greatest player of all time to play for 3 or more teams.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I
Mhm.
actually think that. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think LeBron did pretty good there. But if so Bronny goes to a team, LeBron then has to go after LeBron because free agency, and then we're gonna see, what his legacy really is. That's what's gonna be the determining factor. And does he wait for Bryce? I think that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess we'll figure it out. But yeah, that's the show, guys. Thank you guys for watching, liking, and subscribing. We'll see you guys on Monday for another episode. And yeah, I think
On Friday.
Days are tough sometimes. Pat and I are about to have some pickleball action later today. We're excited. I'm feeling. You know what? I don't know. I really don't know Pat's pickleball game. This is the first time ever playing him, so I'm not sure what his strengths, weaknesses are, if he's got it or not. I think I feel confident that will be definitely a good duel. I think so.
Yeah, fair.
Anyway, see you guys. A peace.